Welcome to another video. My name is Birthroad and we're going to be looking at my top 10 anime today. Now I know this type of video isn't necessarily as well honestly creative as my other videos, and that's because I am going to be out of town whenever this video drops. So I do apologize, but I had to get a few videos done while I was going to be out of town, and so today we're doing my top 10 anime. Of course, I will go into detail, or I should say any manga, because that should be what the title is, because I did include one kind of manga on here, but let's just get straight into it. So we're going to start off here at number 10, which we have Trigun. I absolutely love Trigun. I thought it was fantastic, so good, I even went and bought the manga. I love Vash. I think Vash is an incredible character, very likable. I also think he is pretty relatable, at least for me. The story as well was very unique, very interesting, and I feel like there's no show that's really like Trigun. Like, the closest thing, in my opinion, would probably be Cowboy Bebop, but even Cowboy Bebop isn't that similar to Trigun. Like, they are very different shows, and there's nothing really like it, which not only helps it a lot, because if you're one of a kind and it's good, then, you know, it's probably going to rank a little bit higher, because you really can't get the same thing from other shows that you do from Trigun. However, the best part is easily the characters and, honestly, the world building and stuff. The story is pretty good, don't get me wrong, but the characters make the story way better, and the world building in it is insane. Like, the world in Trigun is awesome. It's super duper cool. What else would be super duper cool is if you guys hit the like button, subscribe, you know, check out all the links in the description and stuff. Just come support. You know, I upload anime videos 3 times a week, so there's something here for all of you to enjoy. Also, I have my Discord in the description where we can sit and talk about anime, and yeah, hope to see you guys in there as well. But let's move on here to number 9, which we have Yu Yu Hakusho. Now, Yu Yu Hakusho, I am a big fan of. You're going to notice on here a lot of my top 10 anime are pretty old. I don't know what it is, but it has nothing to do with new gen versus old gen. I like new gen anime too as well, but it's like something about these shows, they're just such classics, bro. And they're so they're really good. Like, Yu Yu Hakusho is genuinely like one of the best pieces of anime ever. It inspired practically every single shonen you see nowadays, where Hiei becoming the blueprint for some of the most successful deuteragonists in history, like Sasuke, Levi, people like that. Hiei was the original. Yusuke as well was fantastic. The whole story of Yu Yu Hakusho is genuinely great. Honestly, in my opinion, Yu Yu Hakusho kind of feels like if you take all the good things from Dragon Ball and Bleach and put it together, you get Yu Yu Hakusho. So I think that is a huge compliment to the show, and it genuinely feels phenomenal. The story of this show is great. It's kind of similar to Bleach in some senses and similar to Dragon Ball in some senses, but honestly, it might be a hot take. I think it does it better than both of them. I think it is better than both Bleach and Dragon Ball, and it is just really good. Also, for how old it is, the animation's really good too. Like, this is one of the oldest anime you can find with actual, like, solid animation. Like, this came out in 1992, if I'm not mistaken, and the animation honestly is no different from shows that came out roughly 10 years later. Like, it's pretty good, not gonna lie. There's so many good things to be said about Yu Yu Hakusho, but we'll move on to number 8 now. Now, at number 8, we have The God of High School. Now, this is going to be the only manga slash manhwa on here, whatever you want to call it. I know it started off as a webtoon, but technically got made into a manhwa, but I'm counting this on here because I just count it as a manga. I know technically they are different, but really they're not all that different. So, yeah, that's why I have it on here, and, you know, the anime was okay, and then I saw, like, they were never going to make another season, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to give it a read, because I actually did really enjoy the anime for what it was, and then I started to read it, and when I got to chapter 2, I realized, wow, this is a million times better than the anime, and the anime messed up so much stuff. So if you like the anime for God of High School even a little bit, I promise you will love the manhwa. It is, like, actually a million times better just from the jump alone. Like, it is phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie. The God of High School is genuinely incredible to me, and I don't want to be a hater here, but the God of High School is, like, character-wise, it's similar to, like, Dragon Ball. Like, a lot of the characters are similar. Like, Jin Mori and Goku are based off of the same thing. Daiwi's kind of similar to Vegeta and stuff like that, except, like, in the God of High School, they are a lot more dynamic, and I think the depth in the God of High School is super underrated. It's also just really cool, like, dealing with mythical gods and stuff like that, and the power system is super unique. The story is honestly great, has a lot of great emotional moments. The characters are fantastic. I mean, this is genuinely my favorite read ever. Like, the best thing I've ever read, for sure. I absolutely love The God of High School. It is my favorite thing to read, and it was worth how long it is. It is a very long read, so that is a little bit of a disclaimer I will give to you if you do want to read it. It is incredibly long. It has like 570 chapters, and the more you go on, the longer the chapters get, and once you get to the end, the chapters are on average 150 pages, and there's 570 of those, so good luck. It is really long, but it is really worth it. Next up, at number 7 here, we have Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Now, a lot of people have this in their top 5, and I totally get it. Full Metal is arguably a perfect show. The only reason why I don't have Full Metal higher is because it is kind of short. Now, short anime, there are quite a few that are on here. We obviously had Trigun already, but you know, the reason I don't have Full Metal higher, other than it just being short, is because I don't really relate to anybody in Full Metal. I think the characters are phenomenal. I think the story is perfect, and I think there is barely any flaws with Full Metal at all, to be honest. But I think the big thing for me with shows and shows that I like is how much I can relate to them or how much I can take away from them. Because don't get me wrong, watching a show is totally for enjoyment, but whenever you watch a show and get something more out of it, then that show's like a lot more powerful, if that makes sense. Now, Full Metal was still a very emotional show. However, like I said, I just feel like I didn't walk away with as much as the shows ahead of it, which is why I don't have it higher, mainly because I don't really relate to any of the characters, so it's kind of hard to walk away with as much. Next, we move on to number 6, which we have Mob Psycho 100. Mob Psycho, this is the most emotional anime ever, in my opinion. Like, if I just think about the ending, it will genuinely, like, I'll start to feel something. I won't, like, cry just by thinking of it, but if I were to rewatch it, I probably would. I mean, the ending for Mob Psycho is super emotional, dude. It is just awesome, and probably the most emotional episode of anything I've ever seen, dude. I remember bawling my eyes out while watching that. It was just, it's a feeling that can't be replicated, which is the reason why it goes ahead of Full Metal. It's just so emotional to watch, and I think it's very hard for that to be replicated. I mean, putting so much emotion into a show is like damn near impossible, and Mob Psycho did it, so that's why I have it this high. It is very good. Next up at number 5, we have Cowboy Bebop. We have Cowboy Bebop at number 5 because I love Cowboy Bebop, and Spike is my favorite character in anything. Spike's just my favorite character, period. I love Spike. He is awesome, and I feel like I relate to him more than I do anybody else, which is the real reason Cowboy Bebop lands so high. The story of it is great, sure. The characters of it are great, of course. But the main thing behind Cowboy Bebop is Spike. Like, Spike to me is super relatable. I feel like I am Spike, and I relate to him in a lot of things, even the tiniest shit. Like, he's like, oh, I ever told you I hate cats? I hate cats too. So, like, I feel like I relate to him, like, almost to a T. So, yeah, that's the real reason why it ranks so high. I mean, don't get me wrong, the show is super phenomenal other than that, but that's why it ranks ahead of some of the other ones. But now we move on to number 4. We have all of our short shows are done. These top 4 are pretty long shows, and honestly, the reason why is because yes, short shows can be very quality, like Full Metal, like we talked about, like Cowboy Bebop, Trigun, and all those. However, imagine shows that have that quality, but they have like 10 times the episodes. Well, we're going to get started with one here at number 4, which we have One Piece. I absolutely love One Piece. One Piece absolutely does have its flaws, which is why it's number 4. But One Piece to me is probably like the most entertaining anime ever. And yes, the pacing does suck at times, but here's what I will say as well. If you like the story of One Piece, if you like the characters of One Piece, which I do, I don't understand complaining about how long it is. It's just more and more content for me to enjoy about some of my favorite characters in anime and one of the coolest stories in anime. It's just really awesome, and there's not really anything like it, you know? I mean, I feel like pirate anime don't really exist, and so One Piece is kind of the only one you can really watch. And if you like it, like I said, like I like it, I have over 1,000 episodes of content, so I actually do prefer a show being long over quality, quality I should say, because like Full Metal doesn't have a bad episode. One Piece definitely has bad episodes. However, it has way more good episodes than Full Metal because it's just way longer. And, you know, this is just where it comes into my personal opinion, but I think a longer show with a good story and characters to build around, I think is a lot better than a short story, which is why I have One Piece at number 4, most entertaining anime I've ever watched. Next up, at number 3, we have Black Clover. Now, this is the one whenever I do my top 10 that people are the most shocked about. Now, the other ones people can understand and people get. But normally people don't really understand why I have Black Clover at number 3. First of all, I gotta say, is by far my favorite new gen, hands down. And I love the story of Black Clover. I think the story is phenomenal. Also, the characters in Black Clover are also phenomenal, and characters are probably my favorite thing in any story. However, you may be wondering, well, that still doesn't mean it should be top 3. How do you have it at number 3? The reason why is because I get something from Black Clover that I don't get from any other show, and that is motivation. I have never watched a show, whether real, anime, movie, or whatever, where I've seen a character like Asta that has inspired me to get up and go do something, that has motivated me to continue working, that has motivated me to get out of bed or to pause the episode and to go out, do some push-ups, go do something, just run around. Like, there's never been a show that's ever been able to do that, and Black Clover did. Asta, to me, is one of the most inspiring characters I've ever seen in anything. The motivation that he gives to me is second to none, so of course, that's why I have it in number 3. It's just because I walk out of it with something that no show gives me, like we talked about with other shows earlier. Now I'll move on to number 2, so close to number 1. Honestly, number 1 and 2 are way ahead of all of the other shows. All the other shows are phenomenal, but 1 and 2 are by far and away my 1 and 2. But I do think 2 is definitely number 2, not number 1. We have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I love JoJo's. It is phenomenal. Honestly, the only thing I don't like about JoJo's is the community. They piss me off because half of them don't even read or watch the show, and it's annoying. But we're not here to talk about the community. We're here to talk about why it's my number 2 anime. Again, characters are probably the most important thing to me. JoJo's has so many phenomenal characters. Also, each part having its own unique story is awesome, although I definitely prefer some parts more than others. I do think it is really interesting how it's all connected, but not at the same time. Like, it gives you a refresh, which is great. Same world, same story-ish, but it's disconnected by what's going on. And there's so many good things to say about JoJo's, but I will say there are some weaker parts. Like, part 1 and part 4 are probably my 2 least favorite parts, mainly because part 1 isn't really expanded on enough. I actually really like Jonathan. A lot of people think part 1 is boring. I disagree. I just think part 1's too short. I feel like we don't see enough of Jonathan, and I would have really liked to see that because I like Jonathan. I thought he was a great character. And part 4 for me, honestly, the first 22 episodes feel like a whole nothing burger because until Kira gets introduced, which is like episode 22, they're just doing a bunch of bullshit that literally has zero impact on the story. So, yeah, there are definitely issues I do have with JoJo's. However, the positives outweigh the bad so much that, like, I pretty much ignore them unless if we get into talking about it like this. But, like, whenever I think about JoJo's, do I ever think about the negative stuff? No, I'm only thinking about, like, the best scenes, like with Gyro, Polnareff, you know, like in the manga and stuff too. But JoJo's is definitely my number 2. Let's move on to number 1. In my opinion, the greatest show of all time, we have Naruto. I absolutely love Naruto. I do think it is the greatest show of all time. And for some reason, people think it's a hot take to have Naruto at number 1, which I don't get. I don't think people really understand, like, how great Naruto is. And I'm not even talking about from a opinion standpoint, because if you don't like the show, whatever, that's fine. But for the past 20 years, until recently, I think actually last month it got passed by One Piece, but for the last 20 years, Naruto was the most watched anime in the world. So having this as your number 1 is not a hot take. I don't understand how people think it is. It's just not. It's like the most popular anime of the past 20 years, which according to Netflix and Crunchyroll, by the way. I don't know where they get the numbers from, but it was released by both of them. So, yeah, Naruto being number 1 is not really that crazy, but yet people still think it is. I don't understand. And, you know, you could say it's basic or whatever, but to me, there's just no show like Naruto. If Naruto had a good ending, it would be a perfect show. That is honestly the only gripe I have with Naruto. I don't think there's a single other issue with it. When I talk to friends about it, why they don't like it as much, they normally say it's because, like, a lot of the characters from the original aren't really as involved in the second one, which, sure, I mean, is true, but for everyone that, you know, was left behind, there's at least 2 or 3 more that take their spot. I mean, there's so many characters introduced in Shippuden that are fantastic. I just don't get the complaint personally. Like I said, my only issue with the entirety of Naruto is Kaguya. If the whole Kaguya thing didn't happen, if Madara was the final boss, it would be a perfect show. So that's really my only complaint. Let me know your guys' top 10 in the comments. That's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe. Again, I upload anime videos 3 times a week. But that's going to do it. You know, when I get back, we'll have that long tier list. I'm sorry no tier list was able to be uploaded. It is just way too big for me to get done before I leave. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. See ya. Peace.